travel to a faraway jungle to find the source, each having their own reasons. Welcome to the Tomb of Annihilation.
Why don't we get started, shall we? Awesome, welcome back everybody. Do you know that we're about to... Oh, we're on session 49. About to embark into yet another shrine. For 61 days our party has been on the hunt for the Soulmonger, the source of the curse in Chult. They've only recently found the lost city of Omu, once a thriving capital to the continent and the rightful seat of power for Waxanare, the Queen of Chult. After 2 days in Omu, the party have discovered that within the city are 9 shrines to the gods who took over when Ubtar departed. Each shrine holds a cube that will grant them access to what they're yet to find out. 3 of the cubes the party possess. Kubazan is with Valrus, Shagambi with Dusted, and Wongo is with Vargo. It is early afternoon and we join our party outside the shrine to Ijin. Standing sentry, either side, the entrance of this ancient ruin has 2 cracked monoliths, weathered by the passage of time and bearing the scars of countless years. Their imposing presence evoking a sense of both awe and trepidation, hinting at a mystery that lies within. As you step into the courtyard, you can see an ecosystem thriving amongst the desolation. Saw-edged ferns with their sharp and jagged foliage sprouting out of crevices between broken flagstones. Vines crawling across the ground, crisscrossing. A striking display of nature versus desolation. The entrance to the ruin is marked by a pair of sturdy stone doors that stand as guardians beckoning to what lies beyond. Time has eroded their once smooth surfaces, leaving behind cracks and weathered textures and patches of moss and lichen, which further blend in with the man-made and natural. A large flat-roofed ruin that was once a grand structure now awaits your presence. Adorning the doors of the shrine are intricate sculptural reliefs telling a captivating tale. The carving depicting a horned rabbit, its features exquisitely rendered as it charges forward with determination, evoking a sense of power and grace at the same time. Across from the rabbit stands a small, feral-looking bear, fierce and wild, with sharp claws, poised ready for battle. One nimble and cunning and the other compact and formidable. The detail of the carving shows a skill and artistry that only Umo is famous for. Each strand of fur, muscle, is rendered and carved, giving it a lifelike quality. As you take in the scene above the doors, you notice a message carved in the ancient script that you're used to seeing.
All right, that will take 10 minutes to decipher that.
I'll keep a lookout then.
Varga, you're gonna go ahead and spend 10 minutes deciphering?
10 minutes to cast Comprehend Languages, ritually.
Okay. As you prepare your ritual and your cast, does anybody want to do anything in the 10 minutes?
Luna will just keep an eye out for anyone coming from outside.
Okay. Vargo, your spell cast and the letters ahead of you begin to slowly form words that you can understand. And embossed above the doors, it says, Ijin teaches us to take the path least expected.
I conveyed the information to the party. I mean, it's something to keep in mind, I suppose, while we enter.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question? Just the dimensions of this?
Five,
How?
5 foot per square.
No, I meant for the building in front of us and the wall surrounding.
How tall are they?
Oh,
Yeah.
the building itself is about 10 foot high. It's a flat roofed structure. The walls, I mean,
Planning on climbing up.
Oh no, Dustin is just considering it because he heard the term least traveled, so obviously we're not supposed to use the doors.
Dustin
Yeah.
just turns around and goes away. Um,
One could
Is
give
the-
you a boost.
have you seen him climb trees before? I don't think he needs a boost.
See, right.
so what's the plan, Dustin?
Dustin is already trying to climb the wall and try to climb the wall, basically get on top of the wall, and if you can actually walk across it,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like walk towards the edge of the building and see if you can climb up that way. So like if he climbs up here and then try to walk alongside the path up there and then see if you can get on top of it.
Ooh, roll me an athletics and then an acrobatics check for me.
Oh, nice.
Wow. All right.
226s.
Holy cow.
I say to Barris, what did I tell you? Say, look at him go.
Dustin literally stands there, looks up 10 foot high at the wall, judges it, takes one step back, and then in one leap with a foot and claw, digs into the ruined walled surface and just vaults onto the top. No hands required, as he lands perfectly balanced on the top of the wall. And he scampers across and then up to the roofed area in the corner.
Yes, well, no wonder he never used the cape of the mountain bike.
Dusted before you, the roof itself is flat. It is covered with foliage from vines, fallen trees and leaves. A little bit of moss and lichen grows in various cracks and crevices, but it looks like a thick, sturdy, flat roof.
Oh. Dustin looks down at the others as he just sort of scouts this place a little bit out. Sort of rummaging through the vines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just trying to take a look if there is a path up here. There might not be. It's just over enthusiastic Dustin, as always.
Roll an investigation check for me.
Yeah, this is not going to be good. Jesus Christ, what's happening with me today?
Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna move your token just a little bit. Hang on. It'll move
We need you to roll like this all.
I will be useless for the rest of the evening, guys. I've already gotten my above 18 or above goals.
Okay. Dusted, you are moving around the surface of the building. And as you are searching, it takes a good 8 to 10 minutes looking around as you cover the entire area, because it's about 40 foot square. And as you get to that last final part, you turn around to head back, and you notice there's a crevice on the ceiling, breaking down and casting light into a small room below.
Does the crevice look natural, or is it it's like a block entry, or?
Oh, it's natural, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cracks in the wall and the masonry, which just now has created this hole. Not very big, but it's a jagged crevice, so I would probably say it's 12 inches wide, and maybe about 2 feet long.
Oh, that's tricky. That.
It doesn't look like you'd be able to fit into it.
Dust just gonna take a peek. If you can see anything in there.
Roll a perception check for me, please.
Mm.
17.
Okay. With a 17. Oopsie. As you look down, what you're looking upon, you move around so that you can try and take advantage of the light shining at all angles. And indeed, you look down upon a pedestal. On said pedestal, you can see the cube itself.
How big are these again? They are palm sized, right?
They are just bigger than palm-sized, yes. I think we said 3
Really
inches
had
squared.
something to fish it out with. Give me a second to check my inventory.
Find anything?
There's a hole up here. I can see the tablet. It's right in there.
Can you
It looks
reach
like
it?
a bunny. When the second that is suggested by Valrus, Dustin is without thinking just gonna stick his arm in and see if he can reach it.
Okay. You shove your arm in, and as you do, your hand barely reaches the end of the masonry. The ceiling is at least 1.5 to 2 foot thick. As you look down, you realize it is a good 8 feet below your hand.
No good. It's way too far.
If you help me up, I could probably try and grab it.
I mean, Stefan still has threatened to cut one of my arms off, considering my miniature broke its arm. So I wouldn't put it past Stefan to do that.
You want me to
Da-
come up and dangle you through the roof?
Dustin is already on his way back, but being careful not to trip on vines, trying to help Valrus up.
Yeah.
Alright, so Valrus and Dusted. As you're helping, I think Valrus, you will need to roll with advantage. Let's say either an athletics or acrobatics check for me, please. As Dusted is busy helping you and pulling you up. Should be very easy.
Luna will do a lay on weather. What are they called? This aiding. So he gets a D4.
Power word kill.
Yes, exactly.
Guidance.
I die.
Guidance.
Alright, without much effort, you manage to leap just high enough to grab Dusted's hanging hand from the ceiling as he grabs you and grapples and pulls you up. A little bit of grunting and growling, mewling, and you scramble up to the top of the ceiling with Dusted. As you survey
Careful where you
the
step.
Right.
as you look around, you
Carefully.
can see
Oh,
a vine-covered ceiling, moss and lichen. Sorry, Dusted, over to you.
Oh, that was just there. Careful where you step. Especially stepping into the darkness so you cannot find your token.
yeah.
And Dustin sort of leads him over to the crevice in the hole.
Alright.
Tries to demonstrate again that he cannot reach it.
Alright, and Valrus, you stand there as this cat sort of like leans in and you can see what I'm talking about? Can't reach it!
He's just gonna say, are you sure? And he's going to reach down with his hand and like quietly, secretly, mage hand.
I mean, it's very easy to Dustin not to realize that you're casting magic. So go ahead.
Roll a sleight of hand check for me, Valrus.
Oh, 11.
Alright, Dusted, roll a perception check for me.
Yay!
Now you will roll the 18 again.
Yeah.
Nat 20.
Oh, well, 16.
Yeah, try as hard as you might, Valrus. You see the eyebrows of Dusted raise higher as you realize he's probably spotted the tricksy spell.
Yeah.
He knows something.
Next time you just lie to me. Lying to me is easier. You have been a deception.
So,
That's true.
indeed, the mage hand shoots out, grabs the cube, or places its hand on the cube.
Try and pull it up.
Okay. As soon as you do, a vicious scythe comes flying out the back wall, just above where the cube was, slicing through the mage hand, doing no damage at all, and then retracting back within split seconds. And yet the cube floats safely into your grasp.
Does Dustin see this?
Valrus, do you give a bit of room so that he can see this?
See the
He's
side?
probably just going to see the thing and be like, well, good thing you couldn't reach with your arm.
There you go. So you do spot it. Yeah, you definitely.
Yeah, well, Dustin is just rubbing his arm after that.
Still attached. Oh, well, that was quite easy, wasn't it?
That was dumb luck.
All right.
Saunter back over.
Cube in
The
hand.
benefit of rolling what?
See if I can get down safely first.
Valrus, you're holding on to the cube still, yes?
Yep.
And you're carrying the other one as well? So you're currently carrying 2 cubes.
Technically, I suppose, yeah.
Okay.
Something very bad's gonna happen.
Where do you put the cube as you're walking across the roof, trying not to trip?
He was planning on holding it in his hand until he reaches the edge and then just being like, can someone take this, please?
All
So
right.
he doesn't, fall down.
And the
When
easiest is to hand it
climbing.
to Dustin,
That's true. He'll give it to Dustin.
who's already having Shagambi's one, so the bad thing can happen to Dustin instead.
Right, Dustin.
Dustin has the Shagambi one in his back.
Yeah. Bargo
And he
looks
has
at
the other one in
Joanna.
his hand.
Okay. Valrus, are you going to climb down?
Yes.
All right. Roll an athletics check for me, please. As you pass
I
the cube.
climb.
Yeah. As you pass the cube to Dustin, you crouch down, feet first, and you manage to shimmy down the vines on the side of the building. Dusted. Cube in hand, what do you do?
Dustin's gonna do the same and jump.
You're gonna jump.
Oh yes, and I know that's 10 feet.
Alright, go ahead and roll an athletics check for me, please. As you leap 10 feet off the edge of the building,
Howie.
you manage to land and roll, absorbing the damage. A 10 is exactly what you needed. No problem at all. Cube in hand, still holding on. You come into a crouching stance and then stand up straight and over to you.
I have to say, that was genius. Good work. Jardena, you're the only one without a cube yet. Want to have some?
I suppose. I can look after it for now.
Don't
Dustin
sound too excited.
Dustin presents the Itian. I think it's Itian, right? Itian tablet to Jelena.
Cube.
Cube.
Okay, so Yelena now has the cube. What are you going to do with it, Yelena?
She stuffs it in her bag. Immediately, just shoves it in.
Alright. Fair enough. As you pop the cube into your backpack, where to next? Or would you like to go into the shrine?
Do we want to? Well, how did it look on the inside? By the way,
Could only see the pedestal the cube was on and a sort of scythe that swiftly swung out when I grabbed it. And that was about it.
well, I don't believe the trend is gonna break now, and there is going to be like two cubes inside or something. I believe we can go.
Wait, didn't it say go the path least travel? I'm pretty sure not many went that way.
Huh. I mean,
There's sometimes more than one answer to each riddle. I'm pretty happy with this. I think we should go to the next one, so we manage a few of them today, if we're lucky.
I agree.
The next ones will be as simple as this.
The next one will be horrible, just as a punishment.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, no.
You are currently north in the red circle, is it?
That is absolutely right. There you go.
There.
Cleared. Ah,
I guess we just keep on heading westwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'll draw
how
it.
about that one?
Which one?
That one.
Yes. They'll go
Luna
back
is
out the way that they
blind.
came, and then I don't know how you get in there, so I'll put the line to there, and we can figure out when we get there. I wonder if it's a prison.
Seems to have like 3 bits of some kind.
So, marching order still Yelena, Valrus, Vargo, Lunan, Dusted?
Yes. At least for me.
Yelena, what pace are you setting?
A normal pace, just so they can keep an eye out for anything, because like I think this is a bit of an area that they have. Like we've only just entered, so we're not really sure what's lingering, if anything.
Okay. I need you to roll 3d20 for me, please.
Me or all of us.
Just you.
Could someone
3d20. Oh no.
could someone double click where we're going again? Now I have the map up.
Oh, over there. I mean, one of those was a natural 20.
Yeah.
That means a dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Right.
Oh no.
You continue your slow, normal march across the walkway after rising above the staircase. As the day progresses, the temperature continues to rise, pushing the limits of your endurance. The atmosphere grows increasingly humid, clinging to your skin like a damp embrace. The air is laden with moisture, despite the heat. And as you're walking, you can smell the scent of foliage and earth, which reminds you of being deep in the jungle. The vibrant colors of the plants, flowers, all of the flora around seem to pulsate and shimmer in the heat, creating an illusion of movement as you move past on the walkway to the staircase leading down. Before you descend, 15 feet ahead of you in the bottom of the staircase, you can see an overturned wagon lying in what remains of the street. As you slowly move a little bit closer, you can see rotting flower petals that litter the ground around it, and a bee's nest is stuck in its broken wheels. Small bees buzzing in the heat. Interestingly though, hanging from the tongue of the wagon is a freshly cut garland of jungle flowers, almost like a wreath.
It's an odd place to bring flowers, isn't it?
Well, city is pretty odd.
Yep. And the sooner we do what we need to do and leave, the better.
Mhm.
But perhaps we should still take caution and, I don't know, go around quietly.
I suppose you are right.
What are you going to do?
So, yeah, take a slow pace and yeah, go to, I guess, to walk around to maybe starting. Oh,
Why can you not see this token? That is weird. But you can see that.
yeah.
We are on the map now.
Yeah. Alright, so 15 feet from the base of the stairs, an overturned wagon lies in front of you. Are you're planning on going around it?
Actually, no, I don't want to go anywhere near it. Wait, from a distance, can we tell how long it's been there?
Yeah,
Is it like overgrown or
roll
like
roll a nature
covered in
check for
vines
me.
or? Oh boy.
Malrus is going to take out his wand of magic detection and point it towards the cart.
Okay. And you're going to use a charge, are you?
Use a charge, yes.
Hell yeah.
Right. As you do, you feel your eyes begin to shimmer and grow accustomed to the wand, and pointing it forward towards the cart. Nothing magical appears on the cart.
In that regard, at least.
Yelena, over to you.
I rolled a 13.
The cart looks like it has been here for quite some time. You can see that the grass around it has grown accustomed to where it lies, the way that the grass bends, and just where the cart is, there is no grass, as if it has been here long enough to kill off what lies underneath it.
Hmm. Should look at the others. Well, it has been here a while at least. But maybe that doesn't even mean enough. Maybe it is still a trap by some stupid red wizard or stupid veggie pygmy.
Vegemite.
Do you want us to check it out for you?
No, it's fine. We will just walk around, and I suppose we will just have to be very careful that there's nothing waiting for us to pounce.
But
Considering
what
it's
if?
like
But what if it's treasure?
Well, you can poke it with a stick and see if any treasure falls out if you want.
and there's nothing magical, at least. If I use this thing correctly.
Let us
Continue, yeah.
see. Yeah, she'll walk a bit slower and just carefully go around it. She'll go more, what is this, eastwards or south, I guess, on the map.
South on the map, yeah, so east.
Yeah. To
Okay.
give it a bit, she'll give it a wide berth, but the others don't have to.
Okay, who does not give it a wide berth? Sansu,
I would say Luna would go within 10 feet of it and
Okay.
investigate or look at it.
It's going to be attacked by a mimic cart right now.
Yep.
Alright, Lunan venturing closest, you all slowly and cautiously pass by the cart, not choosing to investigate or waken the mimic. Nothing happens as you walk past, the cart remains perfectly still. As you make your way closer to the walled compound at the end. Okay. The walls of this compound are crumbling limestone. Vines crawl up the side. Plants appear in various cracks littered on the surface of the walls. The doors aren't made of stone as they greet you. One of them, slightly ajar, hangs heavily.
This does not look like a temple. But do you guys want to check it anyways?
I'm not sure. We have. We don't have a lot of time.
Could it be a warning?
Pardon?
The reef, could it be a warning? Like, don't go down this way.
Hmm.
And thus sort of looks at the building.
It is quite a cryptic way to leave a warning. Oh, could you send your little bird to?
I
have a
will
quick-
rather not to. I cannot summon it if it
Oh.
dies anymore.
Oh, I see. That is fine.
But I'm willing to take the risk and enter to see what's inside.
So you're gonna summon Arky.
No.
He's gonna use himself instead of Aki.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you're going in, are you?
I mean, cautiously, but yeah.
Alright, roll a stealth check for me first.
Oh, that's gonna be great. Let's see. Actually, it was with disadvantage.
That is pretty good. Cautiously, you make your way up to the large stone doors. The one that's slightly ajar is just big enough for you to squeeze by and pop your head in and take a look around if you choose. Or you could squeeze all the way through.
First, I will like to know what I see before I squeeze through.
Roll a perception check for me.
Mm-hmm. Not much.
Okay. As you pop your head through the gap and you take a look around, the sight that greets you is quite gruesome. 3 large rectangular pits are dug in front of an ominous, tall-looking building. The pits themselves are about 40 by 30 foot square and about... You probably guess they must be 10 to 20 foot deep, but you cannot tell because the pits themselves are filled with the remains of bodies, skeletons lying in each of the pits, all the way down to the bottom.
Alright.
The bones.
Wow.
As you take a look and you glance over the building itself, you notice hanging from the awning on the top of the building is a long rope and a noose at the end. A body dangles 5 feet off the ground, swaying gently in the breeze.
The building itself, does it appear to be of any religious significance?
Roll a
Similar
religion-
to the shrines with...
Roll a
What?
religion check for me.
Alrighty. 19.
Yeah, indeed you recognize various symbols carved into the archway itself that adorn the entrance to the building. Just managed to make it out from where you are standing. You don't
Alright.
recognize whether it is to a god or various deities, but with a 19, you recognize scrawled into the building itself all 9 of the gods from the map that Azuka gave you, or the diagram. Azaka.
Oh my god. About the remains, they are recent or say they seem to be from a long time ago?
The skeletons are bare of flesh, so they are definitely very old.
Alright, I go back to the party.
Mm-hmm.
I mean... Oh, and the body that was hung was recent or very old?
From where you were standing, with a 10 perception check, you
Alright.
could just about see some bone, but you wouldn't be able to tell 100%.
Alright. Seems to be a religious building of some sort inside, but I have never seen so many bodies or remains before. And I proceed to describe what I saw to the rest of the party.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you guys think? How do we proceed?
Are we sure
well.
they're all proper dead? I say and look at Jarlena.
One moment. She'll shuffle in a little bit closer and she'll use her divine sense to see if there are any within 60 foot.
60 foot.
Yes.
From the doorway,
Yeah, she'll try and get within range. I'm not sure how far away they're in the pits. I'm not sure how far away the pits are from the door.
60 foot from the door to the steps of the building is 60 foot. So you could get the whole of the front pit and half of both of the other 2 pits.
Yeah, she'll try and do that then.
Okay.
Yeah,
As you
she'll be quiet about it though.
Right. As you reach out with your divine sense, bits of spine-tingling horror sort of prick in your mind as you feel that the pits indeed are filled with skeletons. Undead horrors lying in wait.
She backs away very slowly and very quietly. And then she just points away.
That's
Lunan takes the hint.
an army right there.
The doors are broken, aren't they?
The hinges of one of the stone doors appears to be broken, and it's sort of hanging in the ground, whether it's through erosion or it has been done like that. But the gap in the door, your human, Vargo's human body could only just manage to squeeze through with a bit of a pop. So you'd be hard pressed to get, hundreds of things running through the doors unless they were opened. But there is a gap big enough for you or anything else to pass through.
Okay.
It wouldn't have felt wrong to put a fireball in each of those pits.
She looks at Howard. You're more than welcome to.
I don't know how to do it. You say, looking around over my
Me
shoulder.
Everyone thinks it's a good idea.
Well, I'm not really sure. There was quite a lot of undead.
Lunan, are people like you not supposed to be quite good dealing with those?
Yeah, I think I could do some stuff, but I would really like it if they are a bit fried first. And then I take care of the ones coming after us. That's survived.
All right.
Do we want to deal with these undead, or?
I mean, the building behind them seem to be of religious significance. I could recognize the patterns of the old gods, or the 9 old gods.
Oh no.
All I'm thinking is it a good idea to leave an army of skeletons at our backs?
That is true. They could wake up at any time and start running around the place.
That's true, yeah. I will much rather deal with them alone than accompanied by something worse than them.
Wouldn't it be easier to just close the stone door?
That might
Dust
make a
itself
lot
like
of
justice
noise.
to the door.
If it is broken the way it is, it might make a lot of noise. I don't know if undead have ears, but I assume that they can hear in some form. And they will know.
So I propose driving them through a small gap and fight them in there.
Also try and make a sound on the other side, perhaps behind the pit.
No, you
See if
need
they react to it.
You need to throw out 2 fireballs. You can do that thing.
The thing you do where you
You make your spell go fast.
I just imagine Jalena like doing some things with her fingers, like
Yeah.
ooh. Do the thing with your fingers where you shoot 2 fireballs at once.
Well, unfortunately, I don't believe it is possible because of some arbitrary reasons.
I love it.
Lots of magic.
What do you mean? 1 fireball in one hand, 1 in the other.
I've tried it many times before. It just doesn't quite work.
Are you afraid your fireballs are not big enough?
Not
So
cover
that's
all
how you
3
got-
pits.
I don't know that spell yet. But maybe by
Oh, boy.
watching you, I will learn eventually.
Well, if they're
Oh,
all down there on the ground, I could possibly throw out 2 of them.
And we could also see what Ayun can do with them. I think she can be pretty good at destroying them. She doesn't really have much of a soft spots for these undead.
well, that should do it. Who goes first?
Well, I'll have to, I suppose.
I will stay near him, just in case they come running too fast.
But who is better at dealing with those things, Ayun or Valrys?
We could try both at the same time.
I'm
All
trying
right.
to see the range on my thing. I can't see it in my
If you cannot see it, it's not very big.
This is all I see.
You need to look up Turn on Dead. So
yeah.
that spell or that skill instead.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we are assuming they are
There we
all
go.
far, but we may as well try.
Depending.
30 feet of you. So we need to throw Lunan into the pit.
Yep. One by one.
No, because that's
Don't
in the
worry.
because
If they don't die, I will throw in a fireball.
because
for
if
good
it doesn't
measure.
work, they will have to flee from him. So they will scamper up the sides at us.
Actually, Lunan, we can make
We need
this super...
we need Lunan to stay up here so he can scare them down into the pit so you can drop the fireballs. We don't need him to scare them up from the pit.
I might, maybe I should bring in the Velociraptor friends as well.
Actually, Lunan, we can make this super optimal, and I can make you fly. So you drive, so you can drive them like a shepherd, you know.
I was about to ask about that. I mean, if we're set on doing this,
I could put down a moonbeam.
how many people could you give flight to?
Couldn't you just climb up?
Comfortably, up to two people. In a
I have a
pinch,
potion.
I can do all of us, but only once per week.
I have a potion of flying, if that helps.
I suppose if we really need to, we could all fly on top of the building, assuming they don't have any ranged capabilities.
How high was the wall?
I think we can manage some skeletons. Honestly.
Just make sure that your fireball is good enough.
You can put down your moonbeam.
I will put down my moonbeam. I will put my moonbeam in the middle one. When you are ready.
Yeah, because I much rather wait to use flying on all of the party when we try to reach the temple in the lab. Honestly.
If we are going to do this, I will probably bless everybody first.
Ooh.
Or well, who I can. Oh wait, I can do it. If I can do 3. Does anything like attack rolls and saving process? I'm not sure how.
So how will we do this? Will we go through the wall or try to fly? I suggest just going through the door.
Yeah, same.
The door sounds like a good idea. We can always fly if we get in trouble.
I suggest for Lunan to lead the pack, seems to be the more suitable in this situation.
To what?
I suggest that you lead us.
The big question is, should I bring out the Velociraptors and then run in ready to fight?
I mean, I don't believe it's necessary.
Whatever you
Honestly.
do, please turn them on while you can see us and then exclude us from being targets.
That's why I also consider it.
I think it would be a good idea. There are a lot of undead, and I don't think it's a good idea to underestimate undead.
Okay.
There's a reason people are, well, afraid of them.
I will take a look at what we have ahead. So Luna will walk up to the door and peek in to investigate the situation.
Okay. As you move up to the door and you peek inside, you can see 3 pits in the forecourt of this walled-in enclosure. And in the pit are skeleton bodies.
And how big is the walkway between the pits? If there is one.
It is a good 10 to 15 feet.
And does it look like the skeletons are able to reach up out of the pit?
Roll a perception check for me.
$19.
From there, initially, they are about 8 feet deep in the pit. With a 19, if they were to form a pyramid, it would probably take them 2 or 3 rounds to start climbing over each other to get out.
I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say we go in and start getting rid of these things.
Hell yeah.
Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm. Always.
As ready as we'll ever be.
One moment, and she will cast Bless on herself, Lunan, and Dusted.
Okay.
I'll send it to Gearblog.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you want to do this, Stefan, if you want us to roll initiative or just go in.
You guys can move in. You have basically got surprise. So, first tell me, there's 3 pits. What is going to be the plan?
Lunan planned to go in to the right of the first pit and try to maneuver himself so he's in between the 2 pits, and then cast turn undead on them.
So, with your 30 foot, you could get the majority of one of the pits very quickly.
I was hoping to be kind of central between the 2, like walk to the center of between the 2.
I get you. So, you want to get the pits all together.
The upper 2, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood initially. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to position yourself there, and everyone else?
Stick as close as possible to Lunan. At least Vargo is.
Okay. Velrus?
Probably gonna have to end up like over there or something, and then fireball that one.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that one, if it's within reach and Lunan doesn't manage to take care of enough.
I'm sorry, I just imagine Lunan Olympic jumping into the one pit and casting Turn Undead from within.
This is what I've been picturing as well.
Implosion of skeletons.
Okay, so
Oh my god.
Lunan, Valrus, and Vargo are coming down southwards, or at least east on the map. Yeah? Valrus, you said you're going to take the bottom pit.
West on the map, right?
Pardon? East or south. Let's call it south, downwards.
Thank you.
So, then there we go. So you guys can see that. That's Lunan's going to focus himself in the center. Fargo and Valrus moving down. Dusted, where are you going to position yourself?
Dustin will place himself. Uh, Dustin will try to get to the opposite side because Jelena, you are here, right?
Oh my god.
Oh, the map disappeared.
Oh no.
Oh,
What's that?
Did they disappear when I drew rectangles?
she's gonna put her moonbeam in the whichever one hasn't got anything in it, and she'll probably try and stay.
What happened?
Try erase, maybe.
Let's just
If
refresh
drawing
this.
the. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh no, everything.
Yeah, erase. Just erase. Oh, don't worry. There you go.
It removed everything.
Yep.
Also, if Lunan is going there and dealing with these two, then Varus would want to send the firebolt there
The top one.
to the top one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but then Dustin will position himself on this side.
Okay.
Because if you guys are down here, the easiest way, if Dustin can use his feline agility to sort of like get around there and block anyone that comes that way around after you, then if Jelena is sort of like can protect the guys from anything that comes here with the moonbeam, I guess.
Yeah.
Or are you
Yeah.
placing it? Or are you placing it in the pit? I don't know.
She's gonna place it either in the middle pit or the southern pit. Not quite
Okay,
sure.
whichever works. But Dustin's gonna try to get to the opposite side near the building.
Okay, so you're all focusing on the middle and the lower pit, and no one's going to focus on the one to the...
I will focus on the one to the top.
Okay. So. Can you see... You can see Yolena's token now, can't you? I'm just going to put all the tokens down and you guys can put them where you want to be, because that's going to be a lot easier. Lunan, there you go.
Drawing instead of.
Dusted, there you go. Elvis, there you go. And Vargo, there you go. Right, so let's start then with Lunan. So you're gonna turn undead for the pit for the 2, yeah?
Yes. And I will.
Oh, no.
I will stand slightly closer to the lower one, to the western one,
Okay.
I guess, because I will not be able to cover 100% of both, I assume.
Okay. That is the first.
How many skeletons do we see now?
That is the second. I'm rolling group checks as you stand on the edge between the 2
Yeah.
pits. You basically present your holy symbol, calling out to your god, and this ripple of holy energy expands outwards from you, and as it does, you just hear what almost sounds like the shattering of bone as it blasts out from you, and then a small whoosh as the bone almost turns to dust throughout both the central pit, almost the entire length of it, and the west-easterly pit, or the south one. As you look around the destruction that you've caused, you can literally see 2 intact skeletons drop to the ground with a little bounce ahead of you, and to below you on the other side, 3 of them. as they drop 10 feet down into the pit. You hear a crunch of more bone as they seem to snap. Valrus. Or no, let's go Yarlena next, sorry.
I
You,
guess she'll. Oh, sorry, go on.
Were you doing Moonbeam?
Yes, she'll put it in the middle pit, hoping to catch ones that are running away from Lunan if they don't get killed.
As you look into the middle pit and you witness Lunan's divine might smashing apart all of the skeletons, what remains are literally 2 that fall to the ground.
It feels a bit overkill to put a moonbeam on them. Is there more in the southern pit?
There is a small handful in the southern pit, yes, there's 3. In the northern pit, nothing has touched them yet.
Yeah, she'll put it in the southern one and try and get it so that it'll either get one and hopefully be in the way of the last 2 who are gonna run away, because it's only a 5-foot cube.
A
Square,
5 foot
even.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 5-foot square and it's 40 foot high, but
40
yeah,
foot
she'll try
high,
and
5 foot radius. Yeah, I mean you could definitely get the 2 in the central pit.
actually, yeah, she'll just go for them because she can always move it if the undead. Oh wait, no, it's a concentration. I forgot. I
Alright,
forgot
so
Moonbeam was concentration. She's not gonna do Moonbeam because she's already put Bless. I forgot it was concentration, so she'll just send a Ray of Frost at one in the middle.
Okay. It's a pity I already rolled a save.
Sorry, I completely forgot it was a concentration, so it would drop Bless.
Alright, so one of the ones in the central pit, go ahead and roll for your Ray of Frost, please.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh, a 10. That just misses, smashing into the ground next to it. Does it
Yeah.
explode?
No, it's
The
just
other one.
that's it.
Anything
That's
else?
No, that's all she'll do.
Did you not bless yourself?
Oh yeah, I did. I forgot that it counts on
D4.
Ray of Frost and stuff.
That definitely hits.
Hey.
2d8 damage is with the 5 and fall damage, and the skeleton's base that smashes into him, and the Ray of Frost passes right through, smashing the bone apart as he drops to the ground.
Very good.
Okay.
She'll just look very pleased with herself.
Valrus, your turn.
Yep, the fireball into the central chunk of the rest of them in the upper pit.
Okay. That's a dex save, basically, isn't it?
Yes.
Given that they're all down and out, they will have disadvantage, and that is their roll. And the fireball explodes in a 20-foot cube.
20-foot radius.
So in the center of the pit will cover the entire pit as the fireball flies from your fingers, smashing
Oh, there we go.
Smashes into the center of the pit, and an enormous eruption blasts into the sky. Please go ahead and roll your damage, sir.
That is 21, except wait, I have the key of Mesro. Did that do something?
Yeah. How many?
Yeah.
How many ones did you roll? 3.
I rolled several. Yeah.
And a 2. Go ahead and roll 3 more d6. So it's 18 plus. Oh wow. Okay. A huge mushroom cloud appears above the pit as the smell of charred bone sort of greets your fingers. Nothing else except the crackling and splintering fills your ears. That has definitely taken care of that pit. Vargo.
I'm focusing on the body that was hanged.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that's in front of Dusted.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm moving that in that direction and not keeping my eye on it, just to look it, to see if it reacts somehow, some
Okay.
way.
And is that going to be your turn?
Yes.
Alright.
Well, I'm moving next to Dusted, I suppose.
Okay. Then Dusted. Over to you.
How many skeletons are left? Like 2 in the middle pit?
There is 1 in the middle, and there's 3 in the south.
And how deep were these again? 30 feet?
They're a good 25 to 30 feet deep, yeah.
Oh, how tempting it is to jump in and just fight this thing on its own.
Even get a jumping start, you know.
I
Land on
mean-
top of them with a swing.
Dustin is definitely tempted, but decides against it, and he gets his longbow out and takes a single shot at it. Oh, start with a single shot.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for me. I'm going to give you advantage.
Well, 16,
16
plus a d4 if it doesn't hit.
16 is good enough. As you let loose.
A 10-point damage arrow towards the skeleton, piercing if that matters.
10 points of damage as the arrow flies, pierces the skeleton just below the chin, snapping its neck, and the skeleton drops to the ground. Well, the skeleton's already on the ground, it just sort of falls apart and rolls all over the place. It doesn't move.
Satisfied, Dustin just doesn't fire a single shot. It just stands there. Now he has killed one, so he's satisfied, even though clearly this battle was won a long time ago.
So you're gonna fire another shot?
No.
Good.
I mean, then I would have to shoot the hanging man. That seems a little grotesque.
Okay. Right, then that will bring us to the top of the round, and there are 2 skeletons that are busy shuddering, so almost waking up. Let's get a roll of initiative, please. There you are. Okay, then that'll bring us to the top of the round with Vargo to start.
How close am I to the hanged body?
You're a good 10 feet away.
I mean, that's nothing. Now that I look at it up close, how does it look?
It looks like a dead hanging skeleton corpse.
Okay, so it's a skeleton. Does it move? It appears to be undead.
It is swaying in the wind. It hasn't moved like the others.
I look behind me, see that the situation is mostly taken care of. I proceed to study it.
You're going to proceed to...
Study it.
Okay, roll an investigation check for me.
Alrighty. That will be 22.
Wow, okay. Studying the skeleton, you can see the remains of some clothing on it, but not a lot. Time and weather have washed the skeleton clean of any clinging flesh or anything at all. This has definitely died a long time ago. On the ground and around it in the area, it doesn't look like the skeleton has moved that much. As you study it, you can notice that the rope that it's dangling on, if it wasn't for the vines that are intertwined within the rope probably would have broken quite some time ago.
Alright, that will be my turn. I believe that's 6 seconds worth it.
Okay. Then that brings us to the two skeletons in the bottom of the pit as they get up and they start looking around. They amble. Let me just roll a perception check for them quick. At the last minute, one of the skeletons stops and looks up and notices you and hisses as the other one follows suit. That is their turn. Lunan, it is your go.
Fireball. Luna will throw a fireball at one of them.
Okay, the blue or the orange?
The blue.
Alright then. Go ahead and make an attack roll for me, would you? Thank you.
17.
The fire flies out and smashes smack bang into the confused skeleton. 9 points of damage is enough to put him down.
Nice.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to do?
No. Lunan just stands there admiring his very efficient clearing of the hits.
Alright, that'll bring us to Valrus.
He's gonna go a bit closer and follow suit, do the same. Throw a firebolt at the last one.
Alright, let's have that attack roll, would you? Oof! That definitely hits as flames spring forward and arc their way into the below pit. The last remaining skeleton looks up at you and he takes 15 points of damage to the face, killing him outright in one swoop, one flash. That brings us to the end of combat.
That didn't end up being too bad.
Got the drop on them.
True.
That was the pits.
Imagine if these would have come at us while we were sleeping.
It wouldn't have been so bad. Is there a door into the big building?
There is, yes. The doors themselves are hanging off the hinges, broken.
Oh boy. She's gonna go and quietly move to stand in the doorway and then use Channel Divinity again to see, just in case, if there is any more.
Okay.
You mean the Divine Sense, right?
Yeah, not Channel Divinity. What am I on about?
Divine sense.
Divine sense.
Okay, so if you're going to be moving quietly, I need you to do a stealth check for me, please.
Yes. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh my god.
That's survival.
That's survival. Why did I think that was stealth? I did wonder why there was no bonus on it. I was like, I have dex.
Even better.
Okay.
Wow. Cautiously,
The armor.
stealthily. Go on.
Which armor are you wearing?
What armor am I wearing? I'm just wearing leather.
Oh, right. Then fine. Wow.
You cautiously make your way up the staircase to the battered and broken doors, and you pause to take a breath, letting out your divine sense. As the feeling cascades out around you, you don't sense anything within the coverage. 30-foot radius, I think?
Uh,
Yeah.
60 foot.
Yep. You don't sense anything within the 60-foot radius.
Yeah, that's fine. She'll turn to the others, I guess, and gesture that they can come in.
Ah, nice. What do we think we have here exactly? A ritual of some kind? That may as well be the whole population of Omu.
Dumping ground for bad rubbish.
Yeah, I think the same.
Not sure. This is a very weird one. How long does it look like the doors have been off their hinges? And I guess
Given the
Tweaks.
area where you are as well, a nature check would do.
nature check. And she'd also hopefully want to maybe find out what size a thing or what kind of thing. Like, would it be a big force, like maybe a spell, or would it be a creature that knocked them off in the first place?
The doors.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like either was it an explosion or, like, I don't know. What could it have been that did it? Basically, she didn't roll very well.
No. You know, the doors are hanging, and there is a lot of nature around.
Looks brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the vines pulled them off.
That's about it.
Hopefully not that. They're not planted quite any more plants.
I will try to inspect
agrees.
the reliefs of the old gods.
Okay.
Do they appear to be telling something? Is there any old Omuan written in them?
Now that you are closer, looking at the reliefs face on, you notice that there are inscriptions around the archway that you'd seen before. There was a pattern that you recognized, and now that you're up close, you can see it is actually an intricate maze that has been carved around the archway and the door all the way down the side of the building entrance. And scrawled over the maze someone has come along and roughly carved over the 9 gods on top of the maze.
Half them over, that seems rather rude.
Bargo is more intelligent than I am, DM.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think he could gather out of this?
Based on the history and what you know of the area, Vargo would easily surmise that this was once some sort of a home or an official building to Ubtao, and then once he had left, it had been taken over by a conglomerate of the 9 gods. By scrawling and almost graffitiing over the original door frame, worshipping Ubtao. At the same time, Vargo would say it's probably a religious kick in the face for Ubtao. You know, you've left. These new gods have come in and taken over, and now we've taken over your dwelling.
Wow. Alrighty. And this seems to have happened a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say the least. We may not have found any cubes, but I cannot stop believing that these things with the old gods, they seem important somehow.
By this, pits were filled with undead as well.
Mm-hmm. Rasnasi. was supposed to be somewhere around here, if I remember correctly.
Maybe just raised them on accident as collateral and they just stayed there.
But it is also that if Rasnasi loved Uptal, still does, to some extent, would he punish people who worship something else here? And does the justice to the pits?
You're...
Hmm.
Sorry, Dustin is heading where?
No, Dustin is just gesturing towards the pits
Gesturing to
and
Mhm.
saying that if Rasnasi loved Uptal so much, anyone desecrating his work would probably be punished rather heavily. I mean, he almost wiped out an entire tribe. The Shawi? So supposedly he could have done this easily.
Doesn't seem out of character. I suppose it's not very important right now. Perhaps we
Yeah.
should just move on.
Mhm. So where to next? I suggested that amphitheater we saw in the distance.
We may as well.
Through the undergrowth, through the walkway.
The walkway is probably safer.
Seems alright to me.
But
I mean,
the undergrowth might be quicker.
the inhabitants of this city built them for some reason. Alrighty.
Do we take the walkway?
Oh, so we've
Margot
been
will
using it
agree.
this far.
Yes.
come again?
We would like to take the walkway and head into the amphitheater.
I'll draw a line.
Valorous, what were you gonna say?
No, he just said that we've been using the walkway thus far anyway, so might as well.
There we go.
Okay, up the stairs, across the walkway, down. Yolena, can you roll a d20 for me, please? And Valorous, roll a d20 for me, please. Okay. Turning around, you exit the compound. As the afternoon reaches its zenith, a transformation begins to unfold. Dark clouds suddenly begin gathering on the horizon, heralding the arrival of a tempest. The sky transforms from a relentless expanse of blazing blue to a tumultuous canvas of greys and blacks as the air begins to crackle with electricity foretelling of an impending storm's fury. You reach the second stairwell as you make your way down, the vegetation tugging at your legs. The wind slowly begins to pick up as the grass and the vegetation sways in the breeze and you head towards what looks like the amphitheater. With Yolena leading you as you approach the ruined amphitheater, a sense of desolation and abandonment permeates the air. The once grand structure now stands in a state of decay, its weathered steps covered in clinging vines that intertwine with the remnants of its former glory. The amphitheater's size and architectural splendor are still evident, but time and neglect have taken their toll. As you draw closer to the edge, rows of empty seats stretch out before you, their stone surfaces worn and eroded by the passage of time. Animal statues carved with exquisite detail line the stands, their stoic expressions frozen in eternal watchfulness. Lions, eagles, serpents, and other creatures of myth and legend stand as silent sentinels, guardians of a forgotten era. The surrounding area, which was once teeming with life and vegetation, now appears barren and lifeless. The muddy ground, stripped clean of its greenery, just adds to the eerie atmosphere that hangs heavy in the air. Not a single bird cry or insect chirp can be heard, as if the natural world itself has been silenced in reverence and fear. As you stand staring around, let me change the map.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said hold on 1 second.
Ah, okay.
As I change the map. A large pile of rubble and bones dominates the center of the amphitheater in front of you.
I'm gonna use Divine Sense. So she's gonna use Divine Sense as soon as she gets in range of the bones.
Let me add you guys to the map then, shall I?
We'll approach quietly if you want
This place seems...
Sorry, these tokens
Oh!
are large, they're not supposed to be.
I'm a big one.
We's a giant.
Oh. Now Jalina's a giant. Oh.
We're huge creatures.
Right, so you are all approaching from the south on the map.
Correct.
And you are by the 2 trees at the bottom.
Alrighty. This place seems important. I'm amazed of how such an entire civilization could be wiped out just like that.
It happened just like that, though.
But if nothing nobody says nothing, Baruch will start to approach. I intend to climb up and take a good view.
Alright, 1 second. As
Oh,
you
yeah.
take in the scene in front of you, ready to move suddenly, the tranquility is shattered by a distant rumble of thunder. It grows louder and more pronounced, echoing through the amphitheater as if nature itself is preparing for an epic battle. The first droplets of rain fall, gently at first, but quickly, creating almost a symphony as they patter against the leaves, the stonework, and the mud in front of you. The heavens will soon be opening. So, Yelena was at the front. Let's start with Yelena, shall we? What are you going to do?
Assuming the body start, the bones start here-ish.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna. Whoop. She's probably gonna quietly walk 30 foot to here and then use her divine sense.
Okay, roll a stealth check for me, would you please?
It will be stealth this time.
Alright. Stealthily moving through the undergrowth, you manage to reach that point and reach out with your divine sense. Vargo, what are you doing?
And Vargo's just stand, looking at the magnificence of the entire place. Honestly,
Okay. Dusted.
Dustin is trying to tie the sheet or whatever you call it of one of the tents, tied to the two nearby trees, and to trying to make like a sailcloth
Mm-hmm.
or sort of a cover, a makeshift cover, because if rain breaks out any moment now, we're going to be soaked or drenched.
Okay, so you're gonna start tying top onto the tree for
Yeah, trying to make a makeshift sort of like cover. Yeah.
Okay. Roll a survival check for me.
Oh, that's not good.
Alright, the all-consuming action of the top almost tangles you up, but you manage to flatten it out as you begin planning how you're going to tackle this problem. Lunan,
Yes.
what are you going to do?
I think I will help Dusted
Okay.
if I can.
Then you roll a survival check for me as well, please. Instead of giving Dusted advantage.
I'm rolling crap, but I have a good bonus.
Wow. Okay. So the two of you focus on getting the top ready, and with Lunan's help, you manage to work that little bit faster, Dusted. Valrus.
Was planning on going to help Dusted as well, but you know, gonna stand and watch instead.
Okay. You stand and watch, and Vargo.
again, if nothing is happening at the moment, Vargo is just looking at the surroundings. Maybe at this point he will start wondering about the statues that seem to be atop of those pillars.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Just those things as well.
Yep.
Those things.
I don't know if they're also statues.
They seem to be statues atop of the amphitheater.
They're all
Yeah.
statues, yeah. Okay. Yelena, as you brace yourself for your divine sense and you reach out for any undead creatures, nothing tickles your senses. Roll a perception check for me, please. Vargo as well. Nice. Vargo, you notice it before Yelena, but Yelena, as you feel nothing, you open your eyes again and you look forward. The pile of bones begins to shift ever so slightly. Just a little bit at first. One or two bones at the top almost bounce off the pile. And then you see the top portion of this pile of bones almost flung into the air. I need to quickly find it, hold on.
It's a nest?
Like a giant ant nest
Oh.
or anthill.
Music turned off, damn, by the way.
I know. As you hear the... That's not as loud as I wanted it to be, but the deafening sound that you recognize clearly as a dinosaur. As all of a sudden, emerging out of the top of the bony pit, There's no picture for him, darn it. I will have to send it to the chat. A huge clawed dinosaur, greater than anything that you have ever seen. Let me open that in a new tab.
Oh my god, I saw the one that Daladon said for a moment. Oh my god.
You what?
Check Discord.
Ah.
You had me for 1 second there. Oh boy.
I knew if I was fast enough, maybe I could do it before Stefan did.
Very funny.
Oh my god, now I cannot take it seriously. I'm picturing
Smashing
that.
through the top of the bones with one horn sticking out from the top of its nose, feathers running down its back. This orange and green Tyrannosaurus Rex bursts through as it gazes down directly at you, Yelena, and it lets out a deafening roar. I need everyone to roll initiative, please.
Hell yeah.
This is where I kick myself for not being a druid.
What would you do as a druid?
I would have seen it and then been able to transform into it.
Ah, in the future, yeah. I think it has a quite high CR.
Alright. We are just waiting for everyone to roll initiative.
I did, but it didn't add for some reason.
Yeah, I rolled 18.
Okay, so let me...
Same here. I've got 11.
So, Lunan 18, Dusted 18, Vargo 21, Valrus 11, Yelena 9.
And Dusted would be above Lunan. He has higher dex.
Let's give him a 19 then. Okay, in which case, why don't we take our break there?
Yeah.
Let's call it 50. Well, let's go on 16. Let's say 1:30.
Alrighty.
Good luck, everyone.
Yeah.
You guys in a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Suspecting Stefan was planning to have the skeleton just swarming us from behind if we made too much noise in this spell.
No comment.
No, because he can use that later.
Alrighty, so what's the plan? Parlay?
You cannot parlay with us because we haven't reacted yet.
I suppose that's true.
Only we had a druid.
Oh boy.
So,
Vargo sees it. Yeah.
should we get back to it then quickly before you plan? Welcome back, everybody. Yeah. We've been traveling through Omu after destroying Neron 70 skeletons buried in holes of mysterious building that you came across, and now you have arrived at the amphitheater, only in the middle of a storm, to encounter a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Over to you guys.
There we go.
I mean, we are on initiative, aren't we?
We are indeed. So, let's go top of the round then. It is Varg.
I suppose that thing is coming to us with his mouth open and all of that. Let's do some things, shall we? I cast Tasha's Mind Whip on it.
Oh, an intelligence save.
Uh-huh. Let's make sure that if it comes to us, at least it cannot attack us.
I think it's coming to us.
Alright, it fails. So, takes
Hold,
3d6.
hold on.
Oh, alrighty.
It is going to use one of its legendary resistances to automatically succeed.
Oh boy, we have legendary resistances. Come on, baby.
As the spell takes grasp of its mind, you almost feel that you penetrate, and suddenly something from the environment around just whips towards it and knocks your hold on the creature at the last second.
Is this a first, guys? It's the first time we find we. Alrighty. Vargo just seems astonished for a second and. Alright, let's go back. I moved back 30 feet and that's my turn.
Okay. Dusted Cole, you're up.
Well, Dustin obviously does the opposite of Vargo. Vargo, have you moved yet?
There I am. DM, it still it still takes 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Psychic, in case it matters.
Everything matters all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Dustin just sprints immediately, leaving the tent or this cover that he's been trying to make with Lunan, whatever state it's in, and just charges ahead.
Okay.
So 60 feet is 10 feet in front of Jelena, like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to take the dodge action. Come on, beastie, come on!
Okay.
I got just that bait in it.
Oh yes!
Lunan,
he's gonna get eaten.
over to you, Lunan.
I think to begin with, Luna will just send off a firebolt and then I might do some more, but first I will
He's
send it
85 feet away.
It's 120 range.
Nice.
And a natural 1, so it misses.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, check.
Do you have music, DM?
It's playing.
I don't hear it. Let's refresh.
You said it was 80 feet away.
85, yeah.
85?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just out of range. I will walk up 2 feet. Or, wait, 2 squares.
Mm-hmm.
So it's closer. Cast spiritual weapon 60 feet towards it, and then have the spiritual weapon move 20 feet, which I think it's allowed to. Otherwise, I will walk closer.
Can walk the same turn that you spawn it?
I don't
actually
know.
don't
I
know.
thought it was allowed to. No, then I will. I will
do you
walk
have-
close enough. I will walk.
you have-
so
Go ahead.
I will-
Sorry.
I will walk so I'm within 60 feet.
And then cast spiritual weapon next to it.
Yes.
Okay.
And attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's 21 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And a good roll, 11 force damage.
Okay.
And then I will take a couple of steps. That's my turn.
Okay. That brings us to Valrus.
Mhm. He is going to move. And let's see. Up there.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it doesn't have a charge attack.
Hopefully. Over there. And try and cast a frostbite.
Okay.
Send out a bit of cold towards the beast. Has to make a DC 16 con save.
That DC 16 Constitution save. He gets a 19.
Fair enough. That's it.
Okay. Which brings us to Yelena.
She is going to cast Ray of Frost with her action, and then as a bonus action, debate between Bless and Shield. Well, fine. Shield of Faith. Well, I'll do the Ray of Frost, and I'll think. Never mind.
A 9 unfortunately misses as it goes wide and smashes into the pile of bones and dirt.
Based on that roll, she's gonna cast Bless afterwards.
Ray of Frost and then Bless.
Yeah, she'll put Bless on herself, Dusted.
Bless is an action, isn't it?
Oh wait, it is. Sorry, I got confused. I thought it was a bonus action. I'll do Divine. I keep trying to call it Divine Shield. Shield of Faith. Sorry. She'll cast Shield of Faith on herself, as the thing is probably gonna start moving in her direction.
Have you... Is your aura active?
Yes, it has it.
Yes.
That's your turn?
Yeah. She'll move a little bit up to be in line with Dusted. Like there. But yeah, that's it.
Now is when that thing goes around and kills Arlis.
Guaranteed.
I mean, I'm sure it can. I mean, if it
Actually,
if it
no
is
way.
huge, it can.
This thing's got -4 intelligence.
But it's also huge, so it
Yeah.
can just walk over us.
That is
It doesn't
also
matter.
true.
We're 2 sizes smaller than it, so
Okay, so... Shaking itself out of all of the rubble, it spied Yelena already, takes in the scene ahead of it, as it runs 30 feet towards you, Dusted. At the last second, using his bonus action, he misty steps
I'm so proud of me.
30 feet to there. Turns around, and Valrus, he is going to... Oh, Noonan, you're lucky. He's going to bite you. He makes 2 attacks.
That's what you get for insulting its intelligence.
True.
He gets a 12.
Weirdly hits?
No, I don't think so.
I see 12 in
No,
your...
it doesn't. Yeah, that's because mage armor doesn't
Oh, alright.
Yeah,
go on.
that should be 15, right? On you or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah,
So your AC... That's
is
a
15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. The second one, he swings around with his tail. Trying to reach you, Alunan. You are literally, literally a few feet away as the tail just swings past your face within 2 feet. And then he screams in your face, Valrus. That is his turn. Vargo, top of the round.
Oh boy. This is interesting. Let's web it. Yeah, why not? I use a second level spell slot to cast web.
Okay. Do you want to draw the area?
Yeah, I'm on it. There it is. Let's make it right like that.
Okay.
So dexterity saving throw if you're so inclined. This is 15.
He rolled a 4.
Then, if it does not have more legendary resistance, that thing is restrained for this round.
Okay.
There's no size restriction for the web?
No, there isn't. I believe.
Nice.
Well, it's yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
If the web aren't anchored between two solid masses or layered across the floor wall, the conjure web collapses on itself. Has it anything to catch on?
Yeah, the ground. I mean, that rule, I believe it applies when you try to web something flying.
Okay.
The web will work where it lies.
Okay.
You won't have to worry about that.
Alright, so if it failed, then that thing is restrained.
Okay. Is that?
And I'm debating if I will move behind these trees over here.
Okay.
That's my turn. I'm concentrating, by the way.
All right. You're concentrating. Good. Dusted, over to you. As the charging Tyrannosaurus Rex disappears before your eyes, you turn around and you notice he's webbed on the ground.
Dust is gonna take not a dash, but just rush through towards it, and sprint through its legs and the web.
Okay.
To here, and slash against its legs as he passes through.
Alright, so let's roll for the web as you enter it to see whether you...
Done. I have a ring of free action. I cannot be restricted.
Oh, you're wearing the free action.
Yeah.
There you go.
I forgot about the free action. Okay. As you go charging through, you're going to attack its legs, the poor thing. You get advantage because he's webbed.
Yeah.
On all of your attacks.
Oh, sorry. That was meant as a. I didn't roll both dice for some reason. 22 for that one.
Yeah, that hits. The 19 hits as well.
So that's just that's one hit, and then another advantage roll. 26 should also hit then.
It does.
And that's a 9. So 21 points of damage, and it's marked with the mark of unrelenting. So if it hits someone, if it's within 5 feet of me and damages someone else, I can do a special attack against it next turn.
Okay.
And that is my turn, I think. Yeah.
Alright, that brings us to Luno.
I will have the spiritual weapon move 20 feet towards us. And then I am contemplating what might be the best course of action here, but I do believe I will just do a guiding bolt level 3 towards him.
You
It's
have
with
advantage.
right?
Yes.
And if I hit, it will be 66 radiant damage. And I roll like crap. I assume that's a miss.
With an 11, yes.
13, but
With a
yeah.
13, yeah. No, sorry, a 13 hits.
Oof, nice.
Oh, I haven't. Oh. 13
What?
hits. My page didn't reload.
17 damage.
Wow, nice.
That was a bad roll. 2 ones.
So even if it gets out of its restraint, the next attacks. Yeah, well, never mind, because the next attack is probably going to be Valus. Never mind.
It's coming now. And I wanna. Since I felt that swish of the tail, I'm moving. So I'm standing next to the tree trunk.
You're moving backwards, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Alright. Which brings us to Valrus.
Well, he will, instead of attacking, assess the situation, and darkness starts spewing out from his arcane focus. And I would like to cast it with my sorcery points on the focus.
So, okay, you're casting it on your focus.
Yes.
Okay.
And he will then move.
Are you in range with that thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it could almost hit Loon 15 feet away, so he's definitely in range of its attack.
Where was I? I was there.
Yeah. You might take an attack of opportunity, I don't know.
But
Honestly.
he can't see me. And attack
That
of
does-
opportunity says that you have to see your target. Unless he can see through the darkness.
I believe darkness only gives him disadvantage.
If
In
he
the
can't
attack.
see me though.
Huh.
Because attack of opportunity.
It's a bonus action, yes?
I think casting it's an action.
No, sorry, the attack of opportunity. It's
Reaction.
It's a reaction.
It's a reaction.
He's restrained. I don't think he gets.
Well,
It says here you can make an opportunity attack when a hostile creature that you can see moves out of your reach.
Oh,
Okay.
that's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
So in which case.
otherwise he could have hit me.
Yeah.
Unless he can see through the darkness, of course.
You don't know that, do you?
I don't.
Okay. Is that your turn?
That
Blind
is
sight.
my turn.
Alright, then that brings us to Yelena. As you see this darkness slowly begin to envelop you.
What on earth are you doing?
Out of its way.
It could just stand around, you know. Then she goes running off. She'll go running this way,
Mm-hmm.
and she will attempt to hit it twice with her short sword.
Okay. Go ahead and roll
Is
with
it-
advantage.
Oh,
Because of guiding bolt
Unrestrained.
and restraint.
That's a hit.
hell yeah. And then the second attack.
That's
Here I am. Amazing. Thinking it's amazing that the creature has +10 to hit, and Derlina has it as well.
Anything else?
No, that would be all. Has it turned around to go after Varus? Or is it still
It's-
looking at like Dusted?
It was always facing Valrus. Because it
Oh,
attacked
okay.
him face on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think some things didn't update for me. She's gonna just shimmy down a little bit so she's a bit less in the way.
Okay.
And that'll be it.
Right. Which brings us to the T-Rex. And as you go charging in and you hit him after Dusted deals damage to him as well, webbed as he is, he lets out a huge roar in your face, yelling out, "Rah!" And then Misty steps again.
Of course. Of course.
Oh my god.
He lands up there and he's going to attack Vargo with a bite, and he's going to tail swipe.
It has disadvantage thanks to Dusted.
No, because he's not within
Oh, he's
5
not
feet
within
of me.
5 feet of- yeah.
Oh, right,
So
right.
I have to be on top of him to stop that from happening.
Nice. Then go ahead,
Oh,
kill me.
he got a natural one for his first roll.
Oh,
For his tail swipe. Oh, Luna. He got a 2.
It hit the trunk of the tree that Luna was hiding behind.
The leaves sort of shake and smash all over you as you hear crack and splinter from the wood. He roars in your face again, and that brings us to Vargo.
Vargo is just astonished for a second. He did not expect the King of Feathers to do that. Did Vargo recognize that as a spell, the casting of a spell?
Roll Arcana for me if you want.
Alrighty. Not bad. 25.
25 is very good. There was no spell casting at all with a 25. You've recognized this as an innate ability.
Alright. I'm within range of his mouth, so I say I can do that as well, and missed a step myself.
Touche.
Very good.
Let's see if I'm within range. DM, would you say I'm within range of that? It's 30 feet, but I don't know if that's a wall or something.
That is a wall, yes. You can
In that case, I will move down. As that's my bonus action, and as my action, I will toll the dead, the thingy.
Okay. Wisdom save?
Wisdom saving throw. Yeah, DC 15.
You rolled a 19.
It takes nothing. Vargo is amazed at this thing. I still have my movement, so I will move 30 feet more to there. And that's my turn.
Okay. Which brings us to Dusted.
Dustin is still perplexed how this thing moves around so fast and he cannot catch him. So he's just gonna keep chasing it.
Oh, I dropped concentration on the web, by the way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he rushes over here, trying to get some leverage against the tree and swipe at it.
Mm-hmm.
12.
A 12 just misses.
Fuck off. And then I'll swing with the rapier. 18.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
And that will be for 10 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my. Well, it's marked as well. But if it just runs away again, it doesn't matter. But it will be marked. You don't have to put it on it. And that's my turn.
Okay. Which then brings us to Lunan.
Luna will cast Pull the Dead on it.
Alright, another wisdom save. What's the DC? 15?
Should be 16 in his case.
Wisdom 16, so you will take 2d12.
Oh, messes it by 1. As Toll the Dead and the bells ring out. The reverberation starts to make the feathers on the back of his head and down his spine on his back start to shake. And his beady little eyes focus on you as he takes 14 points of damage, Lunan. From the you notice blood slowly beginning to pour out of his ears and his mouth. He's bloodied.
Will take a couple of steps away, but trying to stay within his range still. I don't know if I did, so if I didn't, you still have the opportunity attack, and the bonus is moving the spiritual weapon towards me.
Okay, and he does indeed take an opportunity attack against you with his bite. Ooh. Dirty 20.
That hits. Now we'll see how.
It has disadvantage because of dust.
That is a good point. Well done. Let me roll that again. Oh, that one's an 18. That's 28 altogether.
Alright.
As you move away from him, he reaches out and he bites you.
Okay,
20.
don't get anything, guys.
Holy fuck.
And before you can move away, you are grappled.
Yeah.
I love this thing. Can we keep it?
His mouth then, or am I still in the same spot there?
You're still in the same spot, but you are restrained.
Yep.
Restrained or grappled?
Until the grapple ends, the target is restrained.
Ooh, alrighty.
But the Tyrannosaurus cannot bite another target.
But I'm sure he can chew.
And swallow.
Oh no! It says if it says another target, he can definitely chew on you again because you are not another target. You are the target.
All right, that brings us to Valrus.
We don't hear you, buddy.
He is going to fire a chromatic orb at 3rd level from his dome.
Oh, okay. From your darkness.
Yeah.
You're 65 feet away. That's easy,
Yes.
isn't it?
Be fine. Oh.
Why don't you pop chromatic orb into the chat?
There it is.
I doubt you have advantage. Oh, because you're in darkness. I
Yep.
love it.
You can see through the darkness as well, but yeah,
Yes.
can't see
Mhm,
you. Okay, so the 14 to hit, by the way, sorry.
Good.
So, damage type?
Thunder.
Thunder, okay.
Yes. As the clouds are dark and
Mhm.
rain is dripping down.
It is indeed.
19 points. Could have been better. Could have been much better.
Okay, that's good damage. Anything else?
He's gonna stay there.
Alright, then that brings us to Yelena.
She's gonna. Yep. She's gonna run. She's running after it. And.
In which- Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? Did I do something wrong? And she'll try attacking it again.
Alright, go ahead.
Yep.
As you go charging in with 2 attacks.
Yes.
The first one lands solidly, hacking into the side of the dinosaur. Doing 14 points of damage. And it almost roars in pain, and his grip gets tighter
Aw.
on Lunan.
Is it like holding Lunan or biting?
It's biting him. It's got him in his jaws.
As
Go ahead and roll again.
This one she's gonna try and aim it for lack of a better word, like at its cheek. in in hopes that maybe it might like make it let go of Lunan a bit more.
Okay.
Maybe.
Bearing in mind, it's probably got Lunan around the torso, so his legs and arms and head are dangling either side of his mouth. But you can go ahead.
She'll try, but she's gonna probably go further, aim further inwards, upwards. So it's further. So her blade hits further away from Lunan because she doesn't want to risk.
Okay, so what,
Flipping him.
closer to the neck.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for.
Alright, as you aim for the neck and you swing your second attack. Oh, the blade cuts deep into its neck. Crunch.
Ooh.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
She will smite this one.
Ooh.
At second level.
3d8.
Thank you. Oh dear, my damage rolls aren't very good today.
That's 18 though.
Yes, and that will probably be all.
Alright. Which brings us to the T-Rex. And Lunan, it's got you in its jaws. It is going to bite down on top of you. It gets advantage on its attack. The first roll's a 15.
wait, it doesn't because I'm still within sight of it, and
Ah, that is a very good point. Dusted, well played.
so it's just
Can
walk.
it-
So then it is a 15. What's your AC? 17, I think.
18.
18. Okay, Lunan, as it just doesn't manage to bite down, your arm is straining against its teeth. It then decides to take a tail swipe at Yelena. And it gets an 18.
With
18.
disadvantage.
18
'Cause-
misses.
At
Yeah.
disadvantage.
It's gonna miss anyway.
The
Oh,
second
thank
roll's
God.
a 20. 18?
I think
Miss.
yeah. I think the 20 misses as well because I've got shield on.
Alright, and it is then going to Misty Step with Luna.
Don't you dare!
Oh my god.
Over to
No, it's taking Luna away.
we're gonna put Lunan in there now. And that is its turn. Vargo. As you're standing on the corner, it just disappears from view.
I move closer to the corner and say and scream, "Can we keep it?" No? Alright, I told the dead him.
Okay.
Wisdom saving throw, please. DC is 15.
He gets a 7.
Alrighty. That will be 2d12s of damage. Which, not bad. 19. Necrotic.
Mm.
Nice. Good roll.
Alright, as the bells reverberate and deal damage to him, Lunan, he coughs up blood over your pristine clothing that you've not changed since you've been in the jungle. Vargo, does that bring us to the end of your turn?
It does, yes.
Alright, which means it's dusted.
Dustin just gives a tired sigh, and you can definitely see his chest moving, that he's getting his cardio in. And he's running towards this creature again, rapier in hand, trying to get Lunan out of its mouth. So he takes a few swings, trying to hit the side of its head or anything that he can reach with the rapier.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and pokey pokey.
You pokey.
28
28's a good poke.
for 9 damage,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and another roll for 14
14 just hits.
and 10 damage.
Oh wow, 19.
Yeah, I'm all spent after fighting the Throckhemoth. I'm sorry, guys. And it's marked again. Yeah.
Alright. Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Alright, that brings us to Lunan.
Choices.
Lunan debating what to do while inside the coffin's mouth.
I think no, that's Axel. Lunan, in a sheer desperation,
Mm-hmm.
puts out his hands towards its snout and casts banishment on it.
What does banishment, what are the components?
What?
It's
All of them, I
it's
believe. Or
my-
verbal only.
it's all three.
All 3.
So unless you think I've lost my shield,
Oh no, you're restrained. You can cast spells while you're restrained with your arms, can't you?
yeah, you can usually attack as well.
For some reason I thought that you couldn't. Okay, banishment. Send it to the chat for me, would you? I want to see what I need to. What DC?
Charisma saving throw.
It's
DC
charisma 16.
Charisma 16. Oh. Oh. How unlucky is that? Or lucky.
Oh god!
Okay, Lunan,
Oh my god.
Does
you,
he disappear?
you reach out and you cast your banishment on him, and in a puff of smoke almost, that is doused by the falling rain, of course, he disappears.
Oh yes, I was so afraid he would have another legendary resistance. Lunan is just gonna sit there and concentrate very carefully for a minute.
How?
Don't disturb me.
But it's gone. It's going to appear again.
Wait, combat isn't over yet.
Is it really gone?
What we do? What do we do?
Lunan is just sitting there grasping his necklace with a symbol of Ioun as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what happened?
It disappeared with a pop.
Bargo is looking around because it missed its tip already twice. So for a second, it
Dustin
believes that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin is so
It's around
convinced that
somewhere.
it's hiding. Yeah.
What did you?
Luna just single-handedly disintegrated the whole thing.
What did you do to it? Lunan!
I would say Lunan after 10 rounds has gone will go out.
What do you do after 10 rounds?
Then he knows that the spell has had its full effect,
Mm-hmm.
and he will just stand up and be like, "Thank you, Ioun, for that. It's
But-
gone."
What?
But if it's
Oh.
from this plane, it returns.
Yeah.
As
Does
you're
it?
standing there,
It belongs
saying
here.
that,
I thought it
It's
was.
belong. Yeah.
and it passes.
Isn't that? Ah, shit! I need to read my spells better.
With
Aha!
a
There you are.
I knew it. There it is.
Yeah,
The
that was
question
just
is-
a big oomph from me.
The question is Lunan in his mouth still?
No, Lunan is not.
Oh, right.
Lunan's been basically sitting and meditating for a minute and then stands up. And as soon as he turns around, he's like, yeah, everything's done and dusted, I sorted it. The T-Rex pops into existence behind him.
That's how we learned
What?
how that spell worked.
I need everyone to roll initiative again, please.
Oh, it's been just 1 minute.
Oh my god, I rolled a natural one. Oh, I think so did the dinosaur.
No, I just made it.
The initiatives are broken for monsters DM, by the way. If you keep rolling, it's gonna roll all the time the same.
Yeah.
So you might want to do it manually. I just discovered that in my home game.
He's got a
I don't know if I would have dropped my darkness in that minute when it was gone or not.
You probably will.
I think you probably would have as well.
My shield
Yeah.
is gone as well.
I love
think
Lunan
so.
just doing it
Since
all
Lunan
up
didn't
when
give
he
any
was
response or
established.
anything.
Alright, Vargo, from where you stand, you're the first one to see this beast pop into existence. It looks properly pissed.
Understandably so. Bargo will just hit his shield with his staff and cast Toll the Dead on him again.
Okay.
Wisdom 15.
Dirty 20.
Damn it. And I moved back 30 feet.
Okay. Lunan, you sense the presence behind you as it comes to your turn.
He's like, Ioun, we have some stuff to talk about. And then he casts Toll the Dead.
Okay. Right in front of him again, Toll the Dead.
Yep,
16.
passes.
That's a pass. Nothing happens as the bells ring out. Anything else you want to do?
I believe I will cast a third level spirit. No, that doesn't make any difference. A second level spiritual weapon behind it.
Spiritual weapon.
And then attack. 18 to hit.
18 hits.
Or almost max. 11 damage.
Oh, 11 damage. How do you want to do this?
Oh, yes. I think Lunan is like standing there, just getting poofs out of his hands, getting more and more desperate, and it's like, please, Ioun. And as he does, the spiritual weapon just splits it in half from behind.
Alright. As the monster pops into existence, Toll the Dead fails, but Lunan casts a spiritual weapon that swings smashing in to the back of the monster. I would say it cleaves the back of its head in as it falls to the ground in front of you and grinds to a halt. It is
Not
no-
going to get back up now, is it?
I don't know.
Dusted pokes its corpse, clearly
Lunan
expecting
is,
it to blink out of the system.
Lunan is moving out of the way this time.
Alright.
Valrus is curious in the little crater hole thing it crawled out of and is gonna move towards it.
Okay. As you roll a perception check, as you move closer to it.
Good at that.
Oh.
May or may
How-
not be a hole.
What?
There's a bit of a hole there as you move closer and have a look. It's a lot of rubble, but as you look, it looks like a hole.
DM, Vargo will take his time searching for the creature in Baldur's Guide to Monsters.
Okay. While you're doing that, Valrus, you're up there. Lunan, what are you doing?
I think I will take one of the prayer beads
Mm-hmm.
and cast healing on myself.
Okay.
I just have to find the inscription for it again.
You do it as a bonus action, I believe.
It's in the treasure vault or the bag of holding.
Yes, I have one cure wounds, so I will cast cure wound.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for your healing, sir. Yelena, what are you up to?
She's gonna go over. She's gonna smack Lunan on the shoulder and heal him for 10 points.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Nice.
While doing him 1 point of damage.
What about Dusted?
Dustin is still keeping watch over this creature. It's been a troublesome bunch already, so he's just there making sure it's down. Does it actually have feathers? It was called the King of Feathers?
It does. It's got feathers sticking out from the top of its head, running all the way down the back of its spine.
Ooh.
A little bit like the mane of a horse. But it's all multicolored feathers.
Dustin is gonna find if it has any, like on the picture, any orange plumage, he will try to see if he can pick up a nice one. Nice large feather.
You were breaking up there, sorry, Dusted.
Oh, Dustin's gonna try and get a bright orange feather. If it has any, like in the
Mm-hmm.
picture.
Oh yeah, it's got all those feathers in the picture, 100%.
Excellent. Then he will try to find
Okay, very
some
easy.
orange feather.
Cool. Valrus, how long are you spending looking through this pile of rubble and bones?
As long as it takes for Vargo to go through Volo's guide, I think.
So a couple of
He's
minutes.
just he's just wondering why the hell this thing crawled out the ground in the first place.
Alright, as you were rummaging through, you know, your perception didn't pick much up, so you get your hands stuck in, you start pulling stuff out the way, wondering where the body of this thing was buried. You uncover the remains of what looks like rooms. This was potentially a structure of some sort with rooms underneath it. And the dinosaurs literally nested, smashing down most of the walls. But what your search does uncover is a very small box in a corner, like a chest, but easy to pick up.
Pick it up,
Mimic.
and I bring it to the others.
Okay. You carry the chest on your way back. It's not too heavy, but you know, you're still struggling a little bit with it as you trying to balance walking down this pile of bone and rubble. And as you do, you reach Vargo, and with a resounding, he shuts the book, having found what he was looking for.
This thing was buried in there with this thing.
I plonk the chest on the ground and have a look if I can open it.
It's got a very rudimentary lock on it. It's pretty damaged and beat up at the same time.
What did they find out about the creature, DM? If something, which I don't know.
I'm sending that to you now.
Ooh.
And
Wow. Really? The undisputed Lord of Omu. Most of the dwellers of the Forbidden City live in fear of his thunderous approach, and steer clear of the amphitheater.
Thunderous approach.
Was it a spear, or what did you say?
they live in fear.
They live in fear.
No, but the name of the object.
Oh, it was the King of Feathers, the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Wow. This thing was important.
There's some structures in the place it came from, but I wonder why it was underground like that.
We'll look around as well to see if maybe I can find a rock from nearby.
Yeah, I mean, quite easily you could get it out of the rubble, no problem. What are you going to do?
I don't think I have thieves' tools or anything. So, second best option, if this lock on it is old and weathered, maybe a good smack will open it up.
Okay. Go ahead and roll 2d20 for me as you batter it with a rock. I mean, the 10 will do, as you bring it down for the second time. The first one's a wild miss, crashing into the ground. Shake your head and look again and focus and swing. And as the rock descends, it batters into the lock, smashing the whole thing off.
Take a look at what's inside.
As you slowly open the lid of the box, the glimmer of silver. As you see, inside is a platter inscribed with what looks like people enjoying a feast. Next to it is a mask. The mask is golden. It's a mask of the face of a man who has almost skeletal features. He's missing his eyes and his nose. Those are the only two items you find inside.
Golden mask and plate.
And a platter, yes, a serving tray.
Maybe your
Interesting.
magic wand will be of use.
perhaps. Let's have one more charge left, and I take it out and point it.
Alright. Casting detect magic. None of the items are magical.
The fancy mask and a platter.
They seem important. If this creature was treasuring them. Oh, I'm
That's-
sorry. I'm just amazed by this. DM,
Hmm.
I know that Quiff was looking for pieces of particular creatures
Mm-hmm.
of power.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is not one of those, but may I find something interesting in the corpse of this thing? Something that may be of use. I'm looking at the horns, the teeth, the tooth. I mean, the feathers. I'm wondering if something might be of interest to Quiff
Mm-hmm.
in Kirsabal.
What are you planning on taking everything or anything, or do you want to make an intelligence check for me?
All right,
What
I will
was
do that.
causing the teleportation, for example?
Yep. Oof, not good. 8.
So, looking around on the creature, it does have a lot of unique, distinct features. Quiff could be interested in it. It might. Oh, I don't want to give you too much away with an 8. But yeah, he sounds like he's asked you to find other, let's call them legendary creatures. So perhaps you could peddle something from this creature to him. But what parts he was interested in, you wouldn't be able to tell with an 8. You're gonna just have to try your luck.
Lunan, you're a man of nature and knowledge. What do you think?
I think it's a bit more arcane, but I can give it a go at guessing if the DM allows.
Yeah, of course.
Bargo will guide you.
Do you want any type of roll?
Yeah, give me an intelligence check if you would, please. And you can
Yes.
have advantage.
Guidance does before.
Oh, that was a good plus guidance
Mm-hmm.
for a total of 21.
Nice, okay. Based on the list that Vargo has got, you probably think it would be reasonable to take things like feathers, his horn, maybe even some claws, and potentially even some blood from the creature if you could.
Yeah, I think we can take quite a lot here. The feathers seem simple. The horn seems very unique, and yeah, maybe some blood. And what more did you say, DM? Skin? No, don't remember. Claws, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will try
And
to remove
I can help.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm interested in both the horn and the feathers, if possible.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Would the slaughtering be a survival or?
The slaughter.
If Yalena does it, then you don't have to roll anything.
The butcher of the Feywild.
If they ask her, she'll come and do it.
Yeah, Jarlena, please. I am amazed by this thingy.
Lunan is taking out the pocket knife, starting on a small claw. Yarlena take care of the rest of the carcass in half the time.
Just tell me what you want.
Big horn right there. and I believe we can take care of the feathers.
Any
She'll
thoughts?
begin.
Mm-hmm.
She'll just begin, like, as they direct, she'll just start doing it.
All right. As you step forward, with a swing of your sword aiming at the horn, this one's for Bert. One single swipe hacks the tip of the nose with the horn on it off the creature, and you move on to the claws. But the sword is very good at chopping big pieces off, so you just hack away at the legs itself as the ankles drop off with the claws attached. In no time, you manage to harvest everything that you're looking for. I'd say about 10 minutes or so. What are you going to do with the harvesting?
The feathers should be no problem. The horn on the other way, the other hand.
The horn should just be a bunch of. It shouldn't have too much blood and vessels that could go bad in there. Maybe we can remove the skin on the top if there is any.
Are you going to spend time cutting off all of the fleshy bits?
Yeah, to make them less gross.
Bargo will take the feathers
Mm-hmm.
of the creature.
Lunan, with all of the bits and pieces, it will probably take you a good half an hour to 45 minutes to clean them all up to make sure they're not drippy.
How late in the day is it?
The thunderstorm has just passed, and it is middle afternoon.
I think it might be worth taking care of it.
Mhm.
Stuff rots so quick here.
Who is going to carry the big horn?
Maybe we can put it in the bag?
Does it fit?
I don't know how big was the horn.
Yeah, the horn will fit into the bag of holding.
Alrighty, then Dusted has it.
Okay. So, farming all of what you need from the Tyrannosaurus Rex. You clean it up, pack it into the bag of holding. Off to your next location.
Alrighty. Lunan, what did you take, by the way? Didn't hear you. Didn't catch that.
What did I what?
What did you take from the King of Feathers? I didn't wait to catch that.
I didn't take anything, I just helped.
Oh, alright. Alright. Then, there you go. Next one will be... it's actually really close, yeah.
It is indeed. Alright, who's leading and who wants to show me how they're gonna get there?
I assume same marching order?
Yeah, then I can lead again. I assume we're going to go to the one just opposite. If that's the case,
Yes.
then we'll probably go like that. I guess. At a normal pace.
Quick and easy at a normal pace. Okay, roll a d20 for me if you would. Alright. Right, as you make your way towards the staircase, climbing up and down on the other side, everything around appears quiet and serene. You make your way towards the walls of the shrine. There we go. 1 second. Oh. Cracked obelisks adorned with intricate carvings of hanging monkeys, stand as weathered sentinels before the remnants of a once grand shrine. The crumbling walls enclose the sacred space, barely preserving its former glory. Beyond the two obelisks, a courtyard stretches out, overgrown with horsetails and arum lilies, casting long shadows in the heavy sunlight. As you step into the courtyard, the archways beckon, offering passage into the darkness beyond. 5 of the archways, each their thresholds worn and weathered, lead to unknown depths within this shrine. Mounted above the central arch, a stone plaque catches your attention. Etched into its weathered surface is a familiar cuneiform inscription. Another message from a forgotten past.
Wanna
I
take a
may
look?
I should put some time on actually learning this language. I will take 10 minutes to cast comprehend language. DM.
Mm-hmm. What is everyone else doing in the meantime?
Just waiting.
Just keeping an eye out for anything crazy.
Yeah.
Dusted?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I was distracted.
What are you up to?
Dustin is just checking the obelisk screen. I mean, he has no lockup by figuring these things out, but he keeps sort of like trying to figure out if they have some kind of purpose. So if you can examine them in some way or another,
Okay.
that's what he's going for.
Alright, so... You guys can see the map, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, Dusted, you were saying you're just gonna stand watch?
No, he was going to try to examine the. He was going to try to examine the obelisks. He's still in some kind of idea that there's something about them, since they have been appearing at every temple, but he still doesn't know what it is.
Okay. Sorry, roll an intelligence. No, sorry, an investigation check or a perception check for me.
Or perception's probably easy. Yeah, but it still eludes him. These obelisks are too much to handle.
I mean, they must be magical. There must be some hidden meaning to this. You're convinced about it. 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Valrus?
Hmm. Hmm.
Fireball.
I need Valrus
Yeah,
to roll a
add the
perception
group.
check. Mm-hmm.
No, just stand around and wait.
Vargo, I need a perception check from you, please.
Perception. Alright. Um, 11.
Okay. Your spell finishes, and almost as the words in front of you become familiar to you, it clicks the shrine that you're in. And the words then read, "Better to be Wongo's friend than his enemy."
Can you repeat that? Sorry?
Better to be Wongo's friend than his enemy. And then it dawns on you, the monkeys look very familiar.
Alrighty.
Goodbye. Something. What kind?
I beg your pardon. What did you say?
The monkey.
The monkeys.
The Obolaka. That's the name of the god, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, yeah. That's... I didn't change the token. That's why I moved it away.
Oh, right. Bongo.
The monkeys look very familiar, Vargo. They're almost
They
the same.
they remind me of the ones of Akas Mahata. What's the name? The bridge.
Yeah.
Muhaha or something. I don't remember actually.
I think
Akas
so.
Maha. No.
Yeah.
The carvings and the monkeys on the shrine in front of you remind you of the cube that you're currently carrying in your backpack.
Alrighty. In that case, this should be empty. The shrine. The red wizards got a hold of this cube before us.
Is there an opening where you can see inside of the building?
Yes, so
Eh,
in
Looks like
front
there are
of you-
bars.
Yeah, there's one opening in the middle, and there are indeed portcullis bars.
Ours is just going to peek through and see if there's an empty pedestal.
The bars themselves are sealed shut. So you're going to peek inside. It's dark. How far can your vision penetrate into darkness?
Good
60 feet?
question. I think 120 feet.
Oh my god.
Remind me, your darkness. You've got dark vision, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, as you peer in and you become accustomed to the light, you can see right through the shrine to the back wall. A 10-foot tall stone statue of an evil-looking monkey balances on its tail on top of a stone dais in the middle of what looks like a 20-foot high chamber. The statue's limbs are splayed with its hands and feet cupped, and on the wall behind, a sculpted relief shows a monkey-like creature tearing into a giant serpent. There is more of the familiar carving on the back wall.
Well, is it safe?
No. It's a continuous hallway inside. I don't exactly see anything, but there might be some surprises on the way. Is it possible to see through the bars as well?
Yep.
Look at all of them.
Alright, back to may as well just reveal the whole flipping thing. As you peer
That's
through,
fine.
you can quite easily make out what the interior looks like. There are alcoves there which are blocking the ways in. Your vision picks up various things inside that would indicate a scuffle as well. It looks like something has disrupted this once peaceful shrine as you look inside.
It definitely looks like somebody's been here before. Our red wizard friends, I suppose. I don't think we'll find anything from here.
Well,
Anything
yeah,
more, at least.
Oh yeah, we already have this one, don't we?
You do.
Marvel.
Mhm. Yes, I have it in my backpack. Did you mention some carvings on the back of the I believe it might be worth it to check those out.
Are you going inside, Vargo?
I'm holding the cube. I am holding the cube, so I will suggest that somebody waits with the cube here outside while I enter. I want to see those carvings.
Okay.
Right.
It's quite dark inside, Vargo. How are you gonna see? Oh wait.
I can cast.
You've been to Kisabal. You've got your glasses, don't you?
Oh, that's true. I have them.
All right. And how long does your languages spell work? For 10 minutes?
10 minutes or an hour. Let me see. I believe it's 10 minutes.
Either way, it's been less than 10. So as you step up close, you too can see to the back wall, and the carving makes sense to you. And it says, "Wongo's friend knows where to pour the water."
Alright, so this seems to be part of the whichever riddle used to give away the location of this cube, and I go back to my party.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, alright. It was nothing, I believe. I take the cube back from whichever was holding it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we can go.
To the next area.
Now we have to choose. Where do you guys want to go? I believe we can take that one out. The rest of them are all down there.
What time of day is it?
It is late afternoon.
Do
Hmm.
we
Still
want to
have
start
time then.
with the waterfall?
The waterfall at the top.
That waterfall is my particular conspiracy theory of this campaign.
Oops. Oh, I did not mean to draw that line.
Don't delete it. You might kill the whole map again.
I'm not sure how I can you just delete the one? Oh, thank you. I guess if we're gonna go to the waterfall at the top, I feel like the best way to go is up there. We'll have to jump down from the. Wait, how tall are the walkways again? I can't remember.
20 feet.
Is that too high for everybody to jump?
It's at least a
Or is it
D6
alright?
damage.
What do
I
you guys
believe
think?
we will
could just
survive.
we could walk around on the top.
I also can we can feather fall, guys. It's not big deal.
Is it worth it? We'll go around.
There are
Right.
still gargoyles in the top of these houses. That's the point, sir.
Do
Just
we
in
not
case you want to
like-
feather fall down from somewhere and think that you won't be spotted by the gargoyles.
I don't know if we can go like that. Somewhat.
Survive the King of Feathers.
That's probably the rough idea for.
Oh, so you want to go directly to the?
We're going directly to the waterfall.
All right.
I mean,
Skipping over the building.
I thought, well, we could go to the waterfall, then go to the building, and then take
That's
the
true.
the canoe to the other building that's in the water.
Ooh, I love that idea. Yeah, totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, she'd probably set a normal pace, and if we get there and it gets dark, we could probably use the house near the waterfall as like a base.
I like it.
Okay. Roll a perception check for me, please, while you're leading the party through.
Yes. Ooh.
19. That's quite good. Okay. Let me just get the. Okay. Right. Yelena, you lead the party at normal pace all the way through the interior of the city, making your way around a damaged walkway. It's quite strange as you move along. You notice that the ground is slightly a little bit higher on this side of Omu, almost as if everything seems to be sliding down towards the lava itself. You round the bend on the top of the walkway and make your way through some of the houses. I need you to roll... Oh well. Let's get Dustin and Lunan to each roll a d20, shall we? Okay, no encounters as you move past the areas. As you slowly begin reaching the waterfall in the vicinity of that, darkness slowly begins to arrive. As the sun begins to almost dip behind the tree line, and being so deep down from the land above, it seems to be setting a lot faster over here. Let me just get to... So the setting sun brings with it the darkness, and as it does, little glints of the water crashing into the river below sends up steam spray that almost catches your face and cools you down in this hot climate. The roar of the waterfall is almost loud enough to drown out any conversation around you. As you near it, you reach the edge of the waterfall, and the fall itself there is about a 50-foot wide expanse across to the other side of the wall. The water rushes in quite quickly as well, and it looks quite deep underneath that waterfall. Over to you.
Which one of us could walk on water at will?
We can all walk on water if we want to.
I would love to.
But I don't think that will help us get through a waterfall.
What happens if you go under it while you do that?
You don't. You go up again. I'm explaining how it works for them, as far as I know.
Definitely one of the more interesting points we've chosen to explore.
Darn it,
Was
I
this
still
quite
don't know.
nice?
I have to learn a spell. Oh my god.
But
I think
if we go up towards the edge, is Lunan able to see anything there?
What are you looking for in particular?
If there is
a
some
way.
cavity behind it.
Roll a perception check or an investigation check for me. Alright, a 20.
Non-natural.
20 will do it as you expertly gaze over the waterfall looking for anything that could be a cave or a passageway behind. You don't find anything. You move closer, look at the falling water, your eyes pierce the darkness, and it's just rock and wall behind the water. Nothing's there.
This generated nothing. Let's take a 10-minute break and I make sure we all walk on water.
Okay.
I will sit down and start ritually cast water walk on all of us.
Awesome. Okay. Are the rest of you gonna wait, or what do you want to do?
Anyone who doesn't wait?
I may as well cast Detect Magic as a ritual
Mhm.
while he's doing it.
Okay. Dusted?
And this is just gonna keep watch.
Yelena?
Yeah, she'll keep watch as well.
Varus?
Bask in the glory of this magnificent vista.
Okay. After 10 minutes then, Vargo, you cast Detect Magic, and looking around, you don't see any illusions or any magical effects around you.
Mhm.
Lunan, you finish your spell casting and grant everyone the ability to walk on water.
Hey, then that was done. Shall we go and investigate the potential temple?
Yes. I mean, are we sure there is nothing behind the waterfall?
I am as sure as I will be.
I'm going to check.
Unless you wanna try to go through the water.
I'm going to search for any way in
Okay.
on the sides, on the whatever.
Yeah, roll an investigation check or a perception check for me.
I will roll investigation and guide myself,
Mm-hmm. Are you serious about this
which
one?
I'm gonna need. 14.
Is there like a common tradition back at home that your people had where they hid treasure in waterfalls or something?
No, I mean it's just an inch I have sometimes. At least this is the easy waterfall to check out. The other one is going to be more difficult.
Then surely the treasures are in the other one.
I rolled 14 total. Yeah.
Try as you might, you cannot see anything that would resemble a secret passageway or any hidden treasures or doors or caves. There's nothing here.
Oh boy, what a shame. If I had inspiration, I would have used it in this role. Alright, let's go to the temple.
Okay. As the slow setting sun begins to cast darkness across the landscape, you move cautiously towards your intended circular target. Ahead, rising from muddy waters, is a walled ruin, a relic of a forgotten time. The walls, though worn and cracked, still retain a sense of grandeur and solidity. They bear the weight of forgotten stories and a lost civilization, their weathered surfaces holding whispers of the past. As you carry on walking across the water, you notice the surrounding area is teeming with crocodiles, their scaly bodies partially submerged, as they almost seem to become more lazy during the darkness. You make your way slowly around towards the front, and as you approach the entrance of the ruin, two imposing obelisks flank the way. Their surfaces are adorned with intricate carvings. The images depict a long-legged bird with a needle-like beak, its form captured in exquisite detail. The bird, with its elegant and long frame, stands as a symbol of peace and precision, with its beak hinting at its potential for piercing truths or depths. There are steps that lead up to an archway covered in slime, and above the steps, in the center of the archway, you see a plaque inscribed with the ancient cuneiform script you have come to know as Old Omuan. And that is where we shall end tonight's session.
Yay, that will be Papa Thoto.
Indeed. Alrighty. So, we will be picking up again 2 weeks' time, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are on the 14th, so on the 28th of June. I'm not sure about the 12th of July. I might be in Brighton at Develop, so I don't know if I'll be back in time. So at the moment, I'm 50-50 on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If I'm late, I will let you know probably a week before.
Alrighty.
And July the 19th, we won't be playing at all.